So work, energy and power. After completing this topic, I will conduct a full block test of physics, which include all the topics we discussed till now. After completing this one, I will let you know the date when I will conduct the test. So how we define energy? Energy is ability to do work. And what is work? Example, if we have an object and we apply force on the object, so that this object can move from one place to another. So we apply force on the object so that the object move from one place to another. Then what we call that as a work done. So work done is a product of force multiplied by distance. So simply ability to do work means if we are able to apply force and we can move the object to certain distance, it means we have energy or we have supplied energy to the object. So if we are able to do work, ability to do work is simply known as energy. So example, say a wall or a block, a large block, and which is there on the ground, and you're applying a force. So if you're applying a force on this block, but this block does not move, it remain at rest, does not move. Is there any work done? You're applying force on the object, but you're not able to move this object. Is there a work done? So there is no work done because work done depends on the force which you apply and the distance you move. So force is there, but because you are not able to move this to any distance, so what is the work done? The work done is 0. What will be the unit of work done? Unit of force is Newton and unit of distance is meter. So it is 0 Newton meter. This Newton meter is also known as joules. So you can say 0 Newton meter or you can say 0 joules, denoted by capital J. So it means you are not having sufficient energy or enough energy to move this block. So you don't have sufficient energy to do the work done. So we are applying force on the object. When we apply force on the object and we are able to move the object to certain distance, means we have energy and we are doing a work done. Is it clear, the concept of work done? Force applied on the object so that we can move the object to certain distance, we call that as a work done. If we are not able to move the object, so we have energy, but we don't have sufficient energy to do the work done. So if you try to push the wall, you're not able to push the wall. Why? Because you don't have sufficient energy to break the or move the wall. So definition of energy, ability to do work or capability of to do work, or energy's capacity of doing work is simply known as energy. And what is the main source of the energy for us? There are most of our energy originated or started with sun. We'll discuss all the forms of energies and you will find most of the energies are generated or produced by the sun. The SI unit of energy is joules, the same as the work done. But it can be kilojoule. Kilojoule means 1 kJ. So kilo means 10 power 3. So you can say 1000 joules. If it is 1 megajoules, mega means 10 power 6. So it will be 1 million joules or 1 megajoules. Is it clear? The concept of energy, the capacity of doing work or ability to do work is called energy, and most of our energy is derived from the sun. Not all, but most of the energy is derived from the sun. So example, there are different forms of energy. The first form, chemical energy. So chemical energy, and energy can be transferred or energy can be stored. So different forms: chemical energy, kinetic, potential or gravitational potential, light energy, sound energy, thermal energy or heat energy, electrical energy, nuclear energy, wind energy. We will discuss each form of energy now. So the strain or elastic strain energy. The first one, chemical energy. What is the chemical energy? The energy. Yes.
Yeah, just let me take a screenshot. Okay, I'm done.
The chemical energy, the energy which is the stored energy and can only be released by a chemical reaction. So chemical energy is the stored energy and only released by chemical reaction. What does it mean? Example, you have a stock of coal. Coal contain mainly carbon. Other elements are there present or impurities, but mainly it contains carbon. So you have coal or you have carbon. You want to obtain energy or take out energy from the coal. How you release energy from the coal? What you do? You burn the coal. So basically burning a coal is a chemical reaction, because coal in the presence of oxygen, when it burned, it produces carbon dioxide if it is burned completely, carbon monoxide if incomplete combustion, plus heat. So whenever energy is released from the substance by a chemical reaction, so which form of energy this coal was having? This coal was having a chemical energy. Same thing, if you have battery, a cell, on this cell label positive and negative. And you connect a bulb or you connect a lamp and you observe the lamp light up. So lamp light up due to the conventional current, the movement of the charges. But how these charges are getting energy, how these charges are able to move out in the circuit, because inside the cell, there are chemicals. This is called a dry cell. It contains chemical, and these chemicals undergo a chemical reaction. So whenever a chemical reaction is responsible for releasing any form of energy, we call the substance which was having originally, that original energy is a chemical energy. Is it clear, the concept of chemical energy? So the food, the fuel, cells, batteries, they all have chemical energy. Why they all have chemical energy? Because energy can only be released by a chemical reaction. Like the food which we eat, that our digestive system, it undergo a chemical changes. The food undergo a chemical changes in our body, and then it provides different forms of energies. So mainly the energy which was stored in the food was a chemical energy. So fuels such as coal, petrol, like example, for a car, you add a petrol to the car so that you can drive a car. So how this petrol release energy? So this petrol inside the car, it burned in the presence of oxygen and gives out, because it's a hydrocarbon, so it gives carbon dioxide and water vapors. So why the petrol is releasing, how the petrol is releasing energy is by burning or by a chemical reaction. So whenever any substance release energy by a chemical reaction, we call that energy which was stored in the substance is a chemical energy. So example, the sample of a coal is there. These batteries, all they have chemical energy, because you can only take out the energy from this by a chemical reaction. You can only take out the energy, electrical energy from a cell by a chemical reaction. Is it clear, the concept of chemical energy? Any doubt in this? Then the second form of energy, how to take out energy from the coal? You can burn the coal. So this coal is there, you react with oxygen. So you react with oxygen, you burn in the presence of oxygen. What it gives carbon dioxide and heat. So heat energy is released. So how the energy is released? By a chemical reaction. That is why you say the energy stored in the substance was a chemical energy. So chemical energy is a stored energy and it releases by a chemical reaction in other forms. The second form of energy is a kinetic energy. Whenever anything is moving, the moving objects will have kinetic energy. And how you can find this kinetic energy? The formula to calculate the kinetic energy is equals to half mv square, or half I can write 0.5. This is the formula to calculate the kinetic energy. It's half mv square, 0.5 multiplied by mass multiplied by m is the mass of the object and v is the speed at which the object is moving. So anything which is moving having a kinetic energy. Example, a racing car having a kinetic energy. Example, a train moving at a high speed, or a bullet train, it's having a kinetic energy. If you kick a football is moving, it's having kinetic energy. You're moving your hand, that is having kinetic energy. So anything which moves will have kinetic energy. And the formula to calculate kinetic energy is half mv square. So if I say an object of mass 2 kilogram moving at a speed of 10 meter per second, calculate its kinetic energy. So an object is there having a mass of 2 kilogram and it's moving with a speed of 10 meter per second. You need a kinetic energy. So how you can find the kinetic energy? The formula to calculate the kinetic energy is half mv square. So this will be 0.5 multiplied by mass. The mass of object is 2 kilogram. If it's in gram, you should convert into kilogram, because SI unit of mass is kg. So this will be 2 multiplied by velocity or speed square. So this speed is 10, and then according to formula it's square. So 0.5 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 10 square. So 10 square will be 100. 100 multiplied by 2 is 200. 200 multiplied by half is equal to 100 joules. So kinetic energy of this object is 100 joules. Is it clear how to calculate the kinetic energy? So for calculating a kinetic energy, you need a mass and you need the speed at which the object is moving. The formula for kinetic energy I wrote here, it's 0.5 mv square. The kinetic energy, or Ke, is equals to half I can write 0.5 mass into velocity square. If you want to learn or memorize in terms of triangle, (0.5 m v square Ke. So if you need Ke, it's 0.5 mv square. If you need V, then Ke divided by 0.5. If you need V square, then Ke divided by 0.5 m. And if you need M, then it is Ke divided by V square. It's 0.5 is the formula for because it's a part of the formula, 0.5, or you can also write half mv square. That's the same thing. It does not make difference to the formula. Sometimes you have a kinetic energy and you need a speed of the object. So using a kinetic energy, how you can find the speed of an object? So if I say an object of mass 3 kilo or 4 kilogram having 500 joules of kinetic energy, find the speed. So if we need a speed at which we have the kinetic energy and we have the mass, so again we'll use the same formula. As we know, kinetic energy is equals to half mv square. So 0.5 mv square. We will substitute the kinetic energy is given 500. So this one is 500. 0.5 mass of an object is 4 and velocity square. So this is 500. 0.5 multiplied by 4. So half multiplied by, it's like 4 divided by 2. So it will be 2 and v square. 2 is multiplied, other side it will divide. So 500 divided by 2 is equals to v square. So 500 divided by 2 is actually equal to 250. So 250 is equals to v square, but we need a speed. Speed means only v here. So if we need a v, so how we'll remove the square root? How we'll remove the square? So we'll take a square root both sides. So when I take a square root both sides, so what is the square root of 250? Under root 250, what's the answer?
15.8.
So 15.8 meter per second is the speed at which this object was moving. So you may have a question in which you have kinetic energy and they may ask for the speed, or you have mass and speed, they may ask to find the kinetic energy, or you have kinetic energy and speed, they may ask to find the mass of the object. Is it clear, the concept of kinetic energy? That whenever objects are moving or moving objects always have kinetic, any kind of movement, even moving up, down, right, left, any kind of movement is there, the object will always have kinetic energy. So if object is moving faster, it means it will have higher kinetic energy. Potential energy, or you can also say gravitational potential energy. This is the energy stored in the object due to change in height. Like example, an object is on the ground. So here the object is on the ground at position A. I applied a force of, and if the weight of this object, example 30 Newton, which is acting down, what is the minimum force I should apply? So minimum force which I need to lift this object is equals to the force or the weight of the object. So if the object weight is 30 Newton, what should be the minimum force I should apply? I should also apply a force of 30 Newton so that I can lift. Practically, it will be more than 30, definitely. To lift the object, it should be more than the weight initially. But minimum, if I take the minimum, it's equal to 30. So I need a 30 Newton force to lift this object. So I move this object to a distance of 5 meters and place this object on the shelf. So I lift the object by a force of 30 Newton to a distance of 5 meters, and I lift this object and place this object onto a shelf. So how much work is done? Because work done, we know it's force multiplied by distance. So we applied a force of 30 Newton and we move the object. How much distance we move? We move the object to a distance of 5 meters. So 30 multiplied by 5 or 3 multiplied by 5. So we did a work done of 150 joules. But what will happen to our work done as we lift the object and place this object above the shelf? So our work done will be stored inside the object, and this object will have energy of 150 joules. But which form of energy this object will have? Because we did a work done to lift object from one position to another. So whenever we are lifting the object or raising the object to certain height or altitude, our work done is stored inside the object as energy. And which form of energy it will have? It will have gravitational potential energy, or you can say potential energy. So this object having energy of 150 joules, that's why if it will fall, when it will fall, like example, if the shelf break, this object will fall to the ground. Why it will fall to the ground? Because it was having energy. That's why it is able to do work, or it can return to the ground. So whenever we apply a force to change the height or position of an object, the energy always is stored in the object as a gravitational potential energy. And to calculate this gravitational potential energy, you can use a formula for work done. As you know, work done or a work is equals to force multiplied by distance. Say an object is there of mass m. So object is there of mass m. The weight of object is acting down. And I lift this object to certain height or above the shelf, or place up on the shelf. So we did a work done. So what is the work done? Work done is equals to force multiplied by distance. If I move this to a height h, I raise this object from the ground level to the top. I move this object to a height h, and the force which I will apply, that's minimum force, is equals to weight. And what is weight? Weight is equals to mass multiplied by gravity. So the force which I will apply, that's equal to mass multiplied by gravity. and the distance which I move, that's the height. So we'll get mgh. So work done will be equal to mgh, and this work done is actually stored as a potential energy. So how much is a potential energy? Potential energy is mgh. So the idea is that whenever a work is done to lift the object, the work done is stored inside, the energy stored inside the object, that is equal to the gravitational potential energy, and the value of the gravitational potential energy is same as the work done on the object. So if I did a work done of 30 joules, then the gravitational potential energy will be 30 joules. If I did a work done of 50 joules, then the gravitational potential energy will be 50 joules as well. Is it clear? The concept of gravitational potential energy? Take the screenshot. So sometime in exam, they may ask find the gravitational potential energy, or they can ask calculate the height if you know the potential energy. So example, if I say an object of mass 30 kg move to height of 7 meters, calculate its potential energy. So if you want the potential energy, the formula to calculate the potential energy, it's mass multiplied by gravity multiplied by height, mgh. M is a mass, that's 30. G is a gravity, because you are doing a work done on Earth. So that's why the value of the gravity is 10. Multiplied by the distance which you move to a height of 7 meters. So that is 7. So 3 multiplied by 7, that's 21. And 2 zeros are there. So 2100 joules will be the final answer. So if you need potential energy, just a direct formula, potential energy is mgh. There are formulas for all forms of energies, but you will only learn two formulas here, the potential energy and the kinetic energy. Other forms of energies, how it is calculated, the calculation part is not there, like the direct formula. Formula is only for kinetic energy and potential energy. Same thing, if an object having 50 joules of potential energy, calculate height of object above the ground if mass of object if the mass of object is 2 kg. So you have the potential energy, you need a height. In this question, the potential energy is mgh. So mass multiplied gravity multiplied by height. Potential energy is 50 in the question. The mass of object is 2. The gravity is 10. And height you don't know, so you're finding. So 50 is equals to 2 multiplied by 10, that's equal to 20. And height. 20 is multiplied, other side it will divide. So height is equals to 50 divided by 20. So 0 will cancel with 0 and 5 divided by 2. So h is equals to 2.5 meters. So using a potential energy, you can find the height which object is raised. Is it clear, this question? Example related to potential energy. So when you are comparing the potential energy, if you have two objects on at the same ground level and two different shelves are there, so shelf A and shelf B. I lift the object first to shelf A or I lift the object to shelf B. Which one there is a greater work done or greater potential energy?
Shelf B.
So shelf B, there's a greater potential energy or greater work done because we are moving to a greater height. The potential energy depends on the height also. So increasing a height will also increase the gravitational potential energy. Is it clear, the concept of potential energy, the gravitational potential energy? So height 1 was smaller as compared to height 2. That's why greater potential energy at when it is at B. Take the screenshot if you want, and then I'll move on. So these in the picture you can see as the water is falling, because the water is falling. So which form of energy this water is having? Because it is at certain height in this waterfall, so it will have potential energy. Same thing, a coconut drop from the top of this tree. So because it was at certain height, so which form of energy this coconut was having when it was attached to the top of the tree? That is potential energy or gravitational potential energy. Then light energy, at the last I'll discuss light energy. Thermal energy or heat energy. Basically, there are two things in which this energy is divided. One is called internal energy or heat energy, and the second one is thermal energy or heat energy. Both are refers to heat energy, but there's a small difference between the heat energy and internal energy. Sorry. What is the internal energy? Internal energy, it is sum of energies of all particles in a matter. When we sum all the energies of the particles, if we sum energies of all particles in a matter, we call that as an internal energy. So example, you have a container which is filled with, example, a gas, and there are 5 gas particles. Each particle is having its own energy. Example, first particle 2 joules, then 3 joules, then 10 joules, then 7 joules, and then 4 joules or 9 joules. So when I add the total energy of the particle, like 2 plus 3 plus 10 plus 7 plus 9. So what it will make? This will be 22 and 31. So when I add the total energy of the particles, what we will get? We will get internal energy. So here the internal energy is equals to 31 joules. So total or sum of energy of the particle is known as internal energy. Internal energy, or you can also say heat energy. But what is thermal energy? Thermal energy is actually the change in the internal energy. How much internal energy changes, the difference in the internal energy, that's called thermal energy. So some particles, they release energy, so internal energy will decrease. Some of the particle absorb energy, so internal energy will increase. But the difference in the internal energy is known as thermal energy. So example, say in the beginning, at the start, the particles, 3 particles were there, and each particle was having a 5 joules of energy. So if each particle is having a 5 joule of energy, what is the internal energy here? Each particle is, 3 particles are there, and each particle is having a 5 joule of energy. What is the internal energy? Internal energy here is 5 plus 5, so which makes 15. So internal energy is equals to 15 joules. But what happened after some time? What we observe, and at the end or after some time, each particle is having energy of 2 joules. So what is the internal energy? The internal energy is 6 joules. So originally the internal energy was 15. Now the internal energy is 6. So how much is a change in the internal energy, or the difference in internal? So 15 minus 6, this was 15 and this is 6. So 15 minus 6, that's equal to 9 joules. So 9 joules of energy is there. Now what will happen? This will release energy or absorb energy. Originally the particles, each particle was having 5 joule of energy, but now each particle, after some time, each particle is having 2 joules of energy. So what happened? It release energy or absorb energy? So it release energy or give out energy. So energy change, and how much energy is given out? It gives out 9 joules of energy. So the change in the internal energy. So how much is a thermal energy? So thermal energy is equals to 9 joules. So how much internal energy change we call thermal energy? Thermal energy or heat energy, you can say same. If internal energy, the total energy of the particle is called internal energy. You can also say heat energy. But